meal on my face and then just let the magic happen and then just do all this and that. And like, you know, I live within my means and I always aspire to. I think that something terrible is when someone gets rich and then they lose all their morals, which I guess is why I was making this video too. Because if I ever got rich, I don't know. I will say this. My dating standards changed. I went from, oh, date whoever you want because free love. Like, you can always find something to love in each and every individual, because I find that true. No matter how different each person's life may be, they will always have something in common. Like, you can always talk about how you breathe the same air or how you perceive the weather or something. There's always something in common with almost every human being you meet. Almost every human being. But men were never as deep as me. They'd probably just think, oh, hey, sex, and then they get obsessed with it. And so I just decided, alright, if I'm gonna date some sort of cisgendered straight man, I'm going to make sure that I am genuinely loved by them. Genuinely. And then they couldn't do that, and then a lot of these dipshits, who I also met online, because when you're kind of the freaky girl with mental illness and a lot of shit that you don't really talk about and can't really say on a Tinder profile, and you don't look good in selfies, then you just kind of go, hey, anonymous websites like Reddit or Craigslist or even sometimes Instagram, get me a guy. And then you find a guy who's just as like on the same wavelength as you in weirdness but still lovable, and then you have them break your heart. And continuing on, what was I talking about? Oh, my memory loss is kicking in. I was talking oh, love. I eventually just stopped seeing love as a thing, or at least more so during this pandemic, because I got my heart broken very, very badly, and I just decided, okay, if I have to sacrifice my mental health one more time, it better be for someone who can add value to my life, which was, recently my ex-boyfriend, a guy I just dated. I basically decided I wanted to only date men who could provide for me, because, you know, in a pandemic, when I'm broke as shit and not making money, and I'm struggling, if someone who makes like a fuck ton of money wants to be with a pretty girl and whatever, then it should not be, hey girl, you're cute, I already can tell I'm not gonna love you genuinely. Can we go 50-50 on this bill and every single bill until I inevitably leave you for someone else or for a girl who's less problematic, yada yada yada. That shit sucks. So I just decided, okay, let's just filter it out. I want men who take me on dates. I want men who respect me. I want men who can pay for things for me with no problem whatsoever. And despite how I was aiming more for like a 40-year-old millionaire or something, instead I got a 28-year-old incel who didn't pay the rent but still just made a fuck ton of money and decided, hey, I adore her and I'll do this for her. And he did. Up until he decided that, oh no, she keeps stressing me out about not unfollowing a girl I had to pay to fuck and who is literally ignoring me on every platform whatsoever. Oh, how dare she. Anyway, guess I'm gonna cut her out. And did it hurt like hell? Yes. In fact, just earlier today I was laying in bed all day crying and depressed because of his ass. But did it stop me? No, because I couldn't be that hurt, because hey, he helped pay for my printer across the room and for my fancy light setup, and he helped pay for a fuck ton of the pillows on my bed and for a fuck ton of jewelry that I got. He was everything I wanted. So at least I realized, if I'm gonna sacrifice myself once again because I want to be loved by people and I cherish people, I'm probably the anxious attachment type because I love people so much, and that since I never experienced it too much growing up with healthy boundaries and whatever, that I can easily be the type of person who's obsessed or attached extremely fast and very, very sensitive. And so I just decided, if I have to lose myself one more time in love, I better get something out of it. Because, hell, the guy I dated before my ex, all I got was, like, cum on my back, dry tears on my face, and, like, a Little Caesars pizza that I paid for that was cold. So, you know, when the next dude bowls the fuck out on you and will buy you, like, clothing, dresses, jewelry, whatever the fuck you want, you're gonna take that shit. Because you deserve it. And also you know that if he fucks with you later in life and makes you cry, at least you're gonna be crying on, like, 8 pillows that he bought you. And you're gonna use that fancy lotion, all those jewels he got you to make yourself feel better. So my outlook on love changed also because I started researching, like, femininity and materialism and shit like that. And I hate that I only got into it out of struggle, because at some points my mother would threaten to kick me out the house, or, like, start being really abusive and toxic and controlling and invasive, and so it was like, okay, I'll get into sex work so I can make money so that I can escape that environment. But, how do I put this? Did it go well? Sex work? Not really. But then dating men of means. Or at least generous men. Yes, it did. And I got better out of my life because of it. I got better, I received better, I had an easier time of things. Because I just decided I deserve it. I shouldn't want to date someone who all I get out of a relationship is, like, less money in my bank account and more problems than before, and even more reasons to stay up until 3 a.m. crying. I decided I didn't want any more of that. So, I aim for better. And I don't regret it. If I was a little stronger, maybe, because at some points, I forgot to mention this, I can be a little psychotic. Or not psychotic, sociopathic in how I do things. Like, if I want to turn off my emotions and just completely use someone, I will. I did it 1 year with an abusive ex, the same one that leaked my nudes. Long after the scenarios had happened, because I just realized, hey, I'm extremely poor, that he's extremely rich, and he wants me. So, I'll just come over sometimes, he will try to take my virginity and fail, and then I'll eat something at his house and shower and sleep there for a while until I have to get back home, just in time for my mom not to suspect anything, but enough where I could still have a life outside of the hellhole that I was in before. And it worked. For that time it worked, and it taught me that, hey, if you're struggling, find someone who is well off and just leech onto them. Even if you don't love them. I'm gonna cry. I did love my ex, though. He knows that. He's a fucking idiot for so many reasons. He probably thinks I hate him, but no, I loved him. I left because it didn't matter to me how many printers he got me, or what meals, or whatever he was gonna give me, or how many sketchbooks and fancy pens he'd get me. If it's like, no, you still don't love me and you're not loyal and you're making me paranoid and you're probably gonna try cheating on me, so therefore I have no reason to trust you. I don't like dating people who think that their money is going to cover up for everything. And even if you, like, I just think, how do I put this? Due to sex work, I've also realized some wealthy people will think that they can have whatever they want if they just dangle the smallest portion of their net worth in front of your face, and then they'll be like, hey, can you accept the fact that I just tried to rape you a few seconds ago? Or can you accept, like, hey, you might not see me again, get your little loose change, whore. So, people are fucked up. And I still hate it. I think Birkins are fucking stupid. I think anyone who aspires for a Birkin is fucking nimrotic. But ironically, now I'm at the point in my life where it's like, hey, some of these men are terrible. You can either be with a terrible poor one who will manipulate you and think it's love, or a terrible rich one who can buy you diamonds. Even though I don't give a fuck about diamonds, I'm okay with zirconia or, like, plastic or glass, because if it looks pretty, it looks pretty. I only wanted diamonds because I thought if I need to marry someone just for the sake of wealth or getting the fuck out of my house, I'll do it. I'll find them repulsive though, and if I find them too repulsive because I know myself too well to know I cannot just love someone who is going to dangle their wealth in my face and think it can let them get away with fucking anything. I think that's a terrible way to be a person. And then I need something that I could pawn. So that, marry or not, if they're like, hey, I got you a diamond necklace, cool. I'm going to take that shit the second you or someone else disrespects me. I'm going to pawn it, and I'm going to use that money to get the fuck away from all of you. That's the whole reason. I'm not materialistic. I don't give a fuck about Tiffany's. I think someone who spends 5 to 25K on a fucking bag is idiotic. Because there are some people's lives that could have been changed with that money. I'm sickened by people who like those rappers who go to strip clubs. I support sex workers. At this point, I'm okay with them spending all their money on strippers or prostitutes or escorts or sugar babies or whatever the hell they want. Because at least then it's given to a person who might pay their bills or whatever. But then if it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to blow this all on some Chanel because I can. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But they don't even buy their mother shit. They don't buy their kids shit. They don't do shit for their families or their community or their friends. They just decide, I'm going to be the worst type of person. I'm going to get wealth and not spend it on fucking anybody. Those type of people disgust me. They make me fucking sick. Okay. I don't even like rich people. I was always the type to think that no matter how you look like, you deserve livable wages, you deserve to live your life. I thought pretty privilege was stupid. And I thought old men trying to date younger women who were beautiful were fucking stupid. I still do. But life changes. So sometimes you conform. Like, you know. Because then once you realize that people will get less hired for a job if they're unattractive, then you're going to strive to always look your best at all times for whatever opportunity. When you realize some people will treat you like absolute shit because they know that you're gay or you're androgynous or non-binary or that you're transgender or you're this or that, and that they can treat you however they want in front of anybody and get away with it because you're seen as less in society. Like, I hate the way that people treat like punk people or goth people, alt people, hippies. I hate the way they treat anyone that is not just this perfect little image of what you want, like Eurocentric or whatever the fuck standards. I find it disgusting. I always have. Because then it's like, what? So if one day I get kicked out of my house and my hair isn't done in some braids, or I'm not wearing these earrings and I'm not wearing this lip gloss and all you can see is my fucked up hair and my dark circles and how bony I am. Or if my chest was even flatter, or if my body was different, you'd suddenly treat me like shit. That's what you do. That's what you do? It offends me to an extremely fucking high level. It didn't stop me, though, because I guess in a way, I only changed for it because I realized I can still use my privilege. I have lots of privilege. My skin tone, my looks, my facial features, my physical shape, my voice, a lot of things, basically. I can still use it to my advantage to get to a better place in life and society. But even so, I wouldn't do it just for the sake of, I want to be better than everybody, and then one day I can be the type of bitch that sleeps in all day, makes millions from doing nothing, and then just buys nothing but non-stop Gucci and Louis bags, like 8 of them on each wrist, like, hey everybody, hey peasants. And then I'll watch people starve on the streets and die in San Francisco. That's not fucking me. If anything, the only reason I got into it was because I thought, if I make a lot of money, I can not only afford, like, a decent small place for myself and do whatever the fuck I want in peace, like my creative goals, my hobbies, my interests, I could also help someone else. So if I'm, like, with this old man for a few hours eating some bougie-ass, nasty-ass food, which is all just pork loin and bean sprouts anyway, and then if I can just go, hey, I made a fuck ton of money here, please use this, support yourself, sustain yourself, use this for whatever you may need to get a job or get healthy or get on your life, then that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it because, not just me, because I want other people in their life to get better too and have situations that I couldn't. And in fact, that's even the reason I made this channel, because I thought, no matter what a person exists as, they still have a right to exist the way they are. They deserve to not go hungry. They deserve to work a job. Like, I hate the idea that the only person can be a CEO is some sort of old-ass white man or some bigoted, racist, sexist, misogynistic piece of shit. Like, no, you could be black, overweight, with, like, huge fucking, ear, gauges, and, like, even, like, facial scarring tattoos, or, like, some tribal piercings and shit, or, like, whatever the fuck you want. Basically, imagine the craziest, like, imagine if life just said, randomize, and then out came a randomized sim, and that person should still be able to exist and live their life and have success in the way that they fucking are. That's how I feel it should be. Sorry, I'm getting a little off track. But that's just how I feel. I'm sickened by the idea that because of things that people can't control, they are afforded less in life and whatever. So I don't know. And so I don't know, my mindset went from like super punk, super alt, super this, that. It still exists, but then now I see myself wondering, how can I pander myself to be more attractive to a cis man's eyes so I could attract more rich dud guys? Like, ooh, is my skin clear enough? Oh my god, and trying to find imperfections when I knew back then when my hair was fucked up, or I had fucking acne everywhere on my face, or I was missing a tooth, or I had fucked up bushy ass eyebrows, that guess what? I still loved myself and I was still lovable. And I just hate that, I don't know. I guess the scariest thing is that I'd hate to become some sort of person that forgets their values. Like, hell, just a few days ago, I don't know. Just cognitive dissonance is something that can happen. I don't want it to be like a bimification comic where it's just one day, oh, poof, there goes Tamia, who didn't give a fuck about her looks, suddenly being obsessive and out here getting like med spa injections into her face so that she can always look perfectly effortless, when if you would have asked her a few months back, she would have said that you're still lovable with acne on your face or not, or scars or not, or flaws or not, or doing this or doing that to change her looks so that she can be perfect. Because then that just facilitates some sort of career where it's like, guess what? A girl like me, how I am now, cannot get far in life. When in reality, no, I can. And anyone else who either looks better than me or worse than me can also do that. And that's something I want for more people. I don't know, does that make sense? Because, I mean, if someone told me years ago that, hey, you with your dark circles and your fucked up brows and your fucked up hair and this and that, you can't get far in life and do what you want to do, I'd flip total shit. I'd lose my mind. I'd feel terrible. So I would hate to ever go down a path where it's like I'm going to suddenly, after years of loving myself, try to loathe myself or change who I am just to appeal to the masses, or even to the 1% niche, just so that I could fuck some sort of millionaire like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk and get a ring and live life la-di-da, and just not suddenly be so disillusioned that even at my most conventionally beautiful, I'd still hate my fucking life, even though there are people who have it way worse off than me. I'd hate to be that person. So maybe that's why I think diamonds are fucking shitty, but I still want them. I think Birkins are the world's dumbest invention. I still want them. Why? Because they at least can go, hey, you're financially stable and a rich man wants a girl who knows her worth and gets luxury things, and then you can live that life you want, Tamia, but truth be told, I don't give a shit. If life were as simple as everyone had rights and everyone could live life as they please, then I wouldn't give a shit about any of this shit. I wouldn't be wondering, how do I get a man to buy me diamonds so that one day I can have enough jewelry that in a pinch and in a bad situation I can pawn it and then move to another country or something. I'd just be like, hey, I'm fine how I am, living life, away from trauma, away from peace, just with my dark circles, with my little plastic earrings, and just vibing with people who genuinely love me for me and my soul and my thoughts and my outlook on life, not because I make their image look better or stroke their ego enough with this or that. I will say this though. The awkward part is that throughout relearning, like, you know, once you stop learning how to impress people, but then relearn it for the sake of, oh, but hey, remember how your pretty privilege could, like, help these people who were disadvantaged? Do it. And then building up to, oh, your pretty privilege can get you higher places in life. Don't you want to get better in life and higher places? It's still losing values or whatever. Or it changes who I am. And suddenly it changes everything. And I hate it. But oh my fucking god, that hurt. Lord, these braids hurt. So much tension, I gotta take them out. I haven't taken them out because ironically I want to look good in case some shithead rich kid from Craigslist decides, hey, she's cute, I'll take her on a date and buy her lubes or something. Lubes that I don't give a fuck about because anyone can paint the bottom of their shoes red. I just like the idea of luxury and wealth to get someone else richer or whatever. See? Trying to impress people who don't even give a fuck about you or who you are. They just see you're wealthy and they want to be around you. See? Anyway. So, I just want to get to the point in life where I can exist in my circumstances well. Where I can live peacefully and so can other people. And I really gotta stop reading those fucking blogs about, like, trad wife shit and hypergamy and whatever. I only read it because I wanted higher standards and to weed out people who didn't deserve my full-on love. But ironically, some of those pages promote hiding your authentic self, too. Which I hate doing for so many reasons. And I guess that's another thing, because then whenever I get a crush or a friend or something, then I get nervous. Like, oh shit. I used to have nothing whatsoever. I used to not have friends, I used to not have love interest, I used to not have a lot of things in life. But if I slip up once, like if I say one too mean thing, back then no one would have gave a shit and some would have even been impressed, like, damn, that girl speaks her mind. But if I say some of the things I still think now, I might lose people. Like, you know, kind of like the difference between if, like, a Twitter account with 0 followers said something, no one would give a shit. Or maybe they'd even gain something because they knew they had nothing to lose by tweeting it. But then if someone with, like, 1 million followers says the wrong thing, the next thing you know, they could lose, like, all their followers just because everyone decided that wasn't it. So I guess it's, like, that fear of, like, not being what people want, but also not being what you want. So now I'm struggling to actually be my authentic self again. The whole reason I started the channel, because I wanted to be loved for who I am. I decided being seen for who I really am is much better than putting on a facade, than being artificial. I should just be me. And I decided on that, and I haven't regretted it. The only thing now is that now I'm afraid if I do say the wrong thing, then a following that or friendships that I've had for so long might just fold on me and disappear, even though some of them already had, because some of them outgrew me or lost interest. But I don't know, those are just my thoughts. So long story short, what's that quote? To get the ideal of something being loved, yada yada yada, you have to deal with the mortifying ordeal of being alone. Yeah, it's that. It's that times a million. Because I know that pretty privilege and that acting a certain way, if I'm authentic, I'll attract people who like me, but I could also attract people who hate me and or repel people. Because, you know, I've had rich men hit me up, then I give them my Instagram, and then they're like, oh, ew, you talk about your life? Sure, in my profile I said I love creative chicks in the film industry who are authentic about themselves and unabashed and all that, but, like, you don't even do it in a fantasy way, honey. Ew. That's fucking shit. Fuck those niggas, by the way. They weren't even worth my time. And I don't know. I guess it's like a cross between what if I scare someone off with what I say, but what if someone loves it? What if someone loves it? Because then what? I've talked about my abusive life on here. I've talked about my relationships that failed. I've talked about anything from, like, me being depressed to the types of people I date to, I don't know, and people have stuck around. So I guess what I'm saying is I should be myself more often and stop being so fucking scared of who sticks around or not, because I'm fucking lovely. Duh. Yeah. Oh, cocktails! Anyway, God bless and amen. I'm Leaving. Sleepy. Bye. Bye. And then some angles, because I look good. Cute. See, you could be cute with dark circles, acne scars, and outgrown aspects, because fuck it. Love yourself. Love yourself. Bye. That was a weird ass pucker.